Hey everyone, Superman has been reportedly recast by the Warner Brothers studio with Henry Cavill no longer attached to the role, and just rumors that Michael B. Jordan, who played Killmonger, of course, in Black Panther, might just be in talks to take over the role of Kal-El. Ooh, look at DC trying to stay relevant for all the wrong reasons. Well, welcome to New Rockstars News. It's our deep dive into all the biggest stories this week. So we're also going to talk about this new Daredevil Season 3 trailer, plans for an all-female Avengers in Marvel Phase 4, Venom, and more. I'm Erik Voss. Joining me at this table are Garrett and Filup Molina.
Hi, Erik.
Hi, everyone. It's so good to be back.
Your shirt is like a holiday.
I feel like I'm still on holiday. I'm just going to stretch this out to last all year round. It's after Labor Day, though, so the mobs are waiting for me outside and in the comments section.
Because of your white pants.
Yeah, but I'm not going to show you those. It's a sin. All right, let's start with our top story, explaining this craziness with Superman and Henry Cavill. And here's what happened. Warner Brothers was negotiating with Cavill's team to get him to cameo as Superman in the upcoming Shazam movie, which is set to come out in April, but talks broke down, perhaps because the studio won't commit to another standalone Superman movie after Justice League performed below expectations. In general, the studio sounds like they're, hitting the reset button on some of the previous DC plans. So now the reports are that Cavill is officially parting ways from the role of Superman, and Cavill actually was just announced to star in the upcoming Netflix series The Witcher. Meanwhile, it sounds like Warner is shifting to, their focus to a Supergirl movie, which would be an origin story featuring her as a teenager, and that would make Clark Kent in this timeline still an infant. That's the problem with committing to another adult Cavill Superman movie. It was also reported that the studio is considering a completely different shift in direction for the character, maybe even considering Michael B. Jordan in the role down the road, at least. Maybe not in an upcoming movie, just he might be among a lot of people that they're looking at. To me, the most confusing part of this story was that Instagram video that Henry Cavill posted. I think we have it here. Let's roll it and take a look.
I get that as much as I get most Instagram stories.
Fair,
Well,
yeah.
I actually commented on this because I saw it and I was like, what are you playing at, Mr. Soups? And I commented being like, what does it mean? No response.
Oh, really? No response.
Even after all those ends? Well, I mean, I don't know how much of a breakdown we can really do of this. He is wearing a Krypton lifting team shirt. And you can, and the lip is real here. Oh boy.
Chin is as broad as my leg. It's like my knee just sticking out there.
The chin lifts. There's I guess he's holding like a Superman toy from Justice League there. To me, maybe he's like trolling all of us, saying like, regardless of what the barking the media is doing, I'm still Superman. But I don't know. That's kind of a pretty good poker face there. I can't.
He also loves his dog Bear.
Oh, sure. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, but I think it's just a guy who is just like, let me play a song, don't care which one, and then hold up a thing, and maybe it'll mean something. I think he didn't mean anything.
Assuming people like us would go digging into it to try to find meaning.
That's the problem when you go vague like this. Like some of the ideas that people are bringing from this is just a little bit ridiculous, and it's like they're reading into it. This thing, it's like he's trolling us all, which I don't even know if he would do that. I don't understand.
It's not sophisticated enough to be a troll, technically, I would say. It's crypto. Obviously, there's a crypto movie coming. That's why the dog's barking. It's a super dog. It's crypt something. Yeah. I don't know. I guess my question is, would we even be in this scenario if Warner Brothers just gave us a true sequel to Man of Steel, as opposed to having to immediately force them into BVS and then to Justice League?
You're describing alternate realities, right? So but it all has to do with how that movie would have performed, right? Because we could easily say no, we wouldn't, because now he'd be further cemented as Man of Steel. But what if it was one movie deeper in the hole that they feel they've built? And I know that right now they're trying to pretend that the previous movies are we're not married to those movies. They're kind of trying to rewrite history already. So one movie deeper could have been a problem, actually.
Sure.
And a much harder thing that they just need to reboot from, unless it had been Wonder Woman. You know what I mean? And then it's game changing. It's this guy is going to play Superman until he's 80.
Yeah.
I don't know that would have solved it.
I
Yeah,
mean, I know
probably
that
not.
Steve Trevor was the big part of Wonder Woman, and those two and their chemistry was amazing. But I would much rather sort of see a pairing instead of this whole group ensemble that we keep getting from DC, which is rushed in and you're not fleshing out these characters enough. I love Amy Adams as an actor. I just don't love her as
Lois Lane?
Yeah. And I would actually prefer to see Superman and Wonder Woman team up. I think those two together would be...
So in the new 52, like, that's a real hot relationship.
Wow.
Yeah,
You
it's
know what
kind
I'm
of
saying?
like,
And I think that's
for
what
my
DC needs, a
Buffy
little bit of-
fans, Buffy and Spike kind of
Oh, yeah.
lovemaking.
Yeah.
Except for there's one really awkward one. But aside from that, when two superpowered people go at it,
That's
it's kind of like the
it.
dream,
Oh,
right?
it's like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage.
Exactly.
Just, like,
Yeah,
destroying
yeah.
that
was
bedroom.
amazing.
Much more
Oh.
timely reference than mine. Yeah. Or like my
Thank you.
parents.
I think pivoting so hard and, not even going with Superman anymore. That's disgusting, by the way. But going into...
That's how it was made.
Yeah, I think I
A
get
house
it.
was destroyed in my
okay.
conception
Look, it's just one house.
to them. Yeah.
Going Supergirl is a bit risky now. I think that pivoting Superman's character and casting someone like Michael B. Jordan is it's like really refreshing. It's something that's new and exciting. I know that it was Nicholas Scott, I think, was an artist who'd already kind of played around with some
interesting.
designs. And
I
it
hadn't
looks...
seen any designs.
Oh, it looks great. I just saw it on Twitter today. There was like an image where someone was like, yeah, we've been thinking about this for a while now. And I was like, I love it. It looks really sick. And, I feel like with Spider-Man, we had Miles Morales. It's not Peter Parker. It's a completely different character, but it's the same superhero in a way.
Or
Why can't we
filling
have
the same
someone-
spot. So you're saying that you would
I love
essentially like
Michael
want
Bay
to
Jordan.
not be Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Superman,
just like
yes,
a new
not
legacy.
Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
I
one
mean,
way
if
to do it.
DC's
too.
going completely, like you said, they're going fresh, clean, they're cleaning the slate, that could be a way to do it.
Yeah, so the elephant in the room, right, is like Maude's dress matches our new Rockstars colors way too well. No, it's
Are you calling me an elephant?
yeah, the dress. No, so is the race change, right?
Sure.
And I just want to acknowledge that like we're not blind to it, and that I even personally I had a like status check when I heard that, and I was like, huh? And it took about 30 seconds. So I was like, okay. You know what I mean? It was like for a second. And honestly, when I was going, it wasn't even so much race. It was also like, isn't he like not that tall and a little like skinny? And it's, you know what I mean? Like it was like kind of like a visual check-in. And then I was like, well, if he beefed up, actually, I don't really see the difference. Like I don't, I mean, and I'm going to get eaten alive by some people about it, but I don't
I
really
understand
care.
that it's like if it's been around for 75 years and Superman
Yeah.
is white, at the end of the day, he's an alien as well. So it's like,
Yeah.
Right, so
It'd be
it's
kind of
like-
weird that he is white if he's from
Right,
another
he
planet,
happens
right?
to look
Yeah.
like a Kansas native or something
Yeah.
like that. Like honestly, what about his appearance is tied to being a white dude with a black curl?
I mean, we've seen it before already with Hermione in the stage play. She's
Right.
black. And
Which
that's
is
like,
again,
yeah.
that is the creator, J.K. Rowling, choosing to recast that character as
Yeah.
black. Probably, honestly, in retrospect, remembering like, hey, now that I think about it,
I didn't really
where
use
the Black
diversity.
Wizards at? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Malcolm Lee Jordan.
Yeah, I like
Thomas.
Michael B. Jordan a lot. I don't know if just looking purely at his acting style, I don't really see a Kal-El just in because he just brings so much emotion. Like I love the way he played Killmonger, and there was so much like.
But that could be so
Intensity.
refreshing, right? Like that American teenager or American alien thing where it's like a version of Clark Kent that is emotional and intense and kind of is like, what Tom Welling tried. That's the issue, right? So with Smallville, Tom Welling tried to play an angsty Superman, but they had to cast someone that looked like this guy.
Yeah.
And, those people, that was putting appearance before acting chops. And no offense to the guy, I liked him, but there was no nuance. He'd just be like, ugh, and then like laser beams. That would be heat beams. But that would be what would be the emotion instead of like Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger. You kind of are like, I think I agree with you and I'm sad for your death.
Yeah.
But you were the bad guy.
Could I be
Yeah.
the next notch on your body? We're also seeing it with The Witcher, and I think it's kind of timely knowing that Henry Cavill is going to be playing Geralt of Rivia, but knowing that Ciri, who is an iconic character in the third game, it's basically like almost Witcher's adopted daughter. Again, white hair, white skin, super like Scandinavian, because it's all set in like sort of the ancient Nordic times. And they're going to cast, well, the casting went out and they're looking for BAME, which is, I think, Black, Asian, or minority ethnic. ethnicity. So they're looking for someone who's not white. And again, man, the audience has just flipped out. But it's like, it's a fictional character. We've only seen an iteration in a video game. Right. It's like, why can't we just think outside the white box?
Yeah,
this is coming from a white person though, and if I could play Siri, I would do it in a heartbeat. So
I think it's like, and again, we're gonna like your comments are so on point already. People disagreeing with us, and like, good for you. But for the people that do agree with us or are just curious about this other thing, it does have to do with the overall suspension of disbelief. Is when you enter fiction, you kind of are in a place now where it's like, I just want good storytelling and good character, and I've never read a piece of fiction and thought, I like this race. You know, unless the story was about exploration of race and ethnicity, like I haven't really. I pictured whatever like I imagine when they say so you're reading a book and it's like the old professor gets in her way. You might imagine a short old white man who's balding, and somebody else might imagine like a Morgan Freeman type. Like, it's just your imagination. It's just fiction.
But I also think that, you know, because we see the diversity, we're constantly so used to seeing white characters, and because these characters were made 75 years ago where there wasn't much diversity as well, it's like, when do we take the steps to kind of change that, or do we honor what the original source was, knowing that diversity wasn't really a priority for them?
Did not matter, especially then.
Yeah, I think if this kind of thing bothers you, maybe just take a step back from yourself if you're capable of doing that. Understand that you're just defaulting to white, which is what we've always just done because that's what we've seen in media. But
I've defaulted to white my whole life, and I'm not white. Even though people often call me that. White default is not. It's not a flaw that you have like by choice. It's just exposure. Default. Yeah, it's just an exposure thing. And it's like, media has been white forever, so it's like, I default to white. I even default to white. Everyone kind of defaults to white. It's like, there's no need to. It's not necessary for the experience.
I also understand that it's like, you know, there are so many people that could play the white Superman. Like, it, you know, there are people out there. It's not that there's no other choice, and that's why we're thinking outside the box. I understand that there are a number of people that could do a really good job as Superman, as a Caucasian Superman. I don't know. It's interesting to marry those two together so heavily.
Yeah, there's and you know what, Michael B. Jordan was just one name in a Deadline report. It doesn't mean it's the one person they're considering right now. I think they just gave an example of someone like, we could also go in this direction. It's like, I assume they're a huge studio. They're probably looking at like your Armie Hammers and your Oscar Isaacs and whoever else you could imagine in the part. But
and you know what's I think they're even doing with that. I think maybe obviously there's like a wink to the fact like, hey, we're even open to diverse casting for this. But I think actually the message being sent is like, we could reinvent this character a bit, because here's something that really freaking sucks for Henry Cavill. He's really good, actually.
Yeah, he's a very good
actor.
In
Mission Impossible, he is my favorite character in his recent one, reloading his arms. But then also in Man from U.N.C.L.E., he's really good too. This guy's charming. I
love his British
clever.
accent.
He's fun.
His actual accent.
Yeah,
he's not even American.
So,
that's the other thing. It's like, why didn't you cast an American? Henry Cavill's not even from Kansas.
So when they have him play Superman, it's not his choice to play it a bit wooden, a bit muted, or whatever. It's their interpretation of that character. So I think honestly, that's what I'm more excited about and reacting to. Is like, oh, that would be like a completely different take on Superman. That I'm excited about, because it's been a while since we have had a Superman who, you know, did not like getting shot in the eyeball. Remember that thing?
the
like,
Brandon Routh.
Yeah, Brandon Routh. It's just like melting his eyeball and he doesn't blink.
Doesn't even
you
flinch.
don't blink? God, what a weirdo.
Well, let us know what you think about Henry Cavill leaving. How do you think his acting meshed with the character of Superman? And keep things civil when it comes to any other discussion of possible other Supermen. But for now, we actually want to share something with you that we're very, very excited about. New Rockstars is actually branching out to a whole new place where, for the first time ever, you'll be able to watch something with us while we break it down. This is called Scener. It's a Chrome extension, and you know, it's really perfect for the type of in-depth commentary that we do here. But you know, rather than watching our like condensed retelling of movies and TV series here on YouTube, Scener overlays our commentary on anything that you're streaming as you watch it. So you're kind of just seeing it in real time, and you don't have to like interrupt your watching. We're just kind of there with you, pointing out stuff. And you know, it's not just our commentary. Your commentary is involved with this too. Scener lets you give your take on the shows and movies that you love to watch by syncing your reaction videos alongside what you're watching in the same browser. So with Scener, you can create, share, and watch video commentary synchronized with streaming shows, movies, and clips from Netflix, Hulu, and YouTube.
And you don't have to worry about copyright issues like we do that legitimately cost us like a lot of money sometimes dealing with that.
Yeah, and it prevents us from being able to do certain kinds of things where all those restrictions are lifted
down,
here. Yeah, it's
That's
amazing.
cool.
So here's what you got to do. Just go to scener.com/new Rockstars on your desktop computer to watch with us. So our New Rockstars channel has a commentary breakdown that I did actually on Doctor Strange, plus another one coming out pretty soon that I'm excited about.
Very exciting one, a very relevant one too.
Very relevant to this
what we're
conversation.
saying.
Yeah. And I just love all this because I get to like throw these nerdy details at you from up in the corner at the precise moment it happens. It's exactly how I would want to watch these things and have this experience with you, just right there with you.
Yeah, very often like our analysis actually has a lot to do with like at this point in the movie, and you and I have experienced this when we're writing our breakdowns. We're like, at this point, if you remember when you were watching it, you're feeling this. Like we're like having to remind you of where you are in the movie and how you feel about it. And it's like, what if as you're feeling it, it's like you feeling really tense right now? That's because listen to the music that's happening right now. You know, like we're having that experience with you. But then also we can have a whole other experience that we can't have there, where you actually just kind of like hang out with us while we watch something. So I'm dropping pretty soon a piece of commentary on Breaking Bad, which is one of my favorite pilots that's ever happened. And that pilot episode is one of the best designed pilots that you've ever seen, and that is like even a new experience. It's not even like a breakdown we've done before. It's like hang out and watch it with me while I geek the F out on it, and I just like every single thing. I'm like, this is amazing because of this. This is amazing because of this. So hopefully you have seen it before, because I will be talking over that thing.
Yeah.
I actually like that idea because I know I watched a movie. I'd never seen The Godfather.
Oh, yeah.
And I watched it in like the full-on like downtown cinema, and everyone got dressed up. I went with my best friend Alicia Malone, who knows classic movies better than anyone. And she kept leaning over being like, at this moment, and she would tell me like this crucial detail about behind the scenes or something about Marlon Brando or just something.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so much better. Like it's just another layer about what's happening that, you know, you're learning while watching.
Yeah.
I dig it.
And if you don't want it, it's like, go away.
Yeah, it's just
and then
a
you do
plug-in.
want it, come back.
You can turn
It's
it on and
super
off
easy.
pretty easily. Yeah. And so Filup and I are on there currently. Sam and
has
DJ
videos.
are
Sam
doing
did a
some
flash
stuff.
breakdown that should be up there pretty soon.
So yeah, again, check out our channel, Scener. It's time to make a scene. And if you love what we do here, you're just gonna want to download that Scener plugin. It's super easy to do, and it's a great way to
on the Chrome store specifically right now. Other places soon, but we can't talk about it. By the way, I've been working on this a lot, and I like just have to say
your
that
baby.
like I've been consulting with this like crazy, because it's like I was like, this is exactly what we need. So I'm just letting you guys know it's really important to me personally.
Yeah, so check it out. And for now, let's move on to this week's trivia question.
Ooh.
Okay, so you guys know the stakes.
You guys know the stakes?
The stakes, yep.
Omaha,
baby.
They call me Miss Takes.
Okay, so in Man of Steel, keeping things Superman related here, in the movie Man of Steel, what was the name of the Kent family dog? All right, all of our answers are here in the bucket. Now, later in the show, we'll reveal the bucket. These names we gotta get these.
We went to the dollar store for everything on this set.
Yeah. We'll reveal the answer to the question. The closest, as decided by our judge, will do our sign-off goodbyes at the end of the video. Meanwhile, the loser will have to partake in our relatively new trivia punishment, and it will they'll have to be inducted into the GIF of Shame, of which I think we're all members. So.
Oh, the GIF of Shame.
The GIF of Shame.
I thought we were
Indirectly,
doing
yes, I am.
beheading, but
I haven't lost yet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you chose to be in it last time.
Oh, so.
I love wacky inflatable flailing arm tube men.
Okay, in other news this week, we got a teaser for Daredevil Season 3. Now, it's just a little awesome clip with Matt Murdock in a church confessional booth. He looks all bloodied up, like he's just been in a fight, and he wears his black Season 1 vigilante clothes, and he says, "I'd rather die as a devil than live as Matt Murdock."
How did that make you feel saying that right now?
It felt so cool.
Is that your impression too?
And
That's pretty good.
no, I can do better than that. I won't. I'll tell you where you can see me do impressions of superheroes at the end of the video. Anyway, this season will drop most likely sometime before the end of 2018. We don't have a date yet, but they said hopefully before December. And here's what we know about the story. We know that the Defenders were ended with the image of Matt Murdock waking up in recovery. Somehow he survived a building falling on him. And that shot actually may be familiar to some of you comic book readers. It was taken directly from the Born Again Daredevil comics by Frank Miller. And Charlie Cox has said that Season 3 will be largely influenced by Born Again, just not a page-to-page adaptation. He also teased that there would be another hallway fight to
There
pay
always is.
homage.
I met one of the people that choreographs those recently, and I was just like, man, and like every single like little thing I could do, he'd be like, oh, that was Bill. Yeah, like he like had it in his head still. Oh man, I was so impressed.
Yeah.
Did you talk about the
Repeated hits?
That was a car door.
Oh gosh,
Oh,
yeah.
ooh,
No, he
That's-
didn't do that part.
That's kind of
but
what
yeah,
turned me
yeah,
off
yeah.
the series.
Yeah,
I was
D'Onofrio
like,
just kind of improvised in that moment.
You
didn't
just
he?
know that someone's in the sound booth just punching a watermelon because that was just too squishy and
Yeah, there was a
splashy.
lot of texture in that sound.
Blah.
And just in case those of you who haven't read Born Again want to know what it is, it's just kind of known as like one of the best comic book storylines for Daredevil. It's very dark and involves Kingpin realizing Daredevil's identity and like destroying his life. Daredevil becomes homeless and kind of crazy, and there's a lot of like Christian symbolism going on, and there's a lot of artwork kind of depicts him as a Christ figure. But a couple implications I want to talk about. One is one of the big villains that Kingpin unleashes on Hell's Kitchen is Nuke. And Nuke has kind of been introduced through Jessica Jones, through Will Simpson. He's Frank Simpson in the comics. But so he might come back. But to me, the more interesting idea is this idea: will this be affected by the snap? Will we see the world of Hell's Kitchen affected by the dusting? And maybe that's why Matt Murdock is in this dejected state.
No, I don't think they're going there. They're not crossing that stream just yet. But I do think the fact that, with the Born Again, if he's in that one line where it was just like, I would rather die as Daredevil than live, as in his human life. If that's taken away from him and his identity is learnt by Kingpin, then that makes absolute sense.
Yeah,
it's the comic.
Yeah, I
There's
think
no snap.
I agree. Like that's why it's so dark. I also agree that it's probably not post snap, because here's my guess for in general how Netflix decided to handle it is let's make all of our heroes have a concurrent story that's taking place right before Infinity War. So the new season of Jessica Jones or whatever, like all the latest seasons are actually they're not running consecutively, they're running concurrently.
Well, also remember around, I think it's in Manhattan, that giant alien sort of spinning machine, like that has to show up surely. Like
if it wasn't,
it would,
it would
the
be
Q
there.
ship or whatever it's called.
Yeah, which it is there currently. If you go to Disney World, I believe, right? Like it's in the news thing or whatever. It's
the Daily Bugle.
Oh, yeah,
that's
exactly.
cool.
That's
so
true.
that's where Disney World currently is at on the timeline.
Yeah. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. definitely seems concurrent with the snap, right? Because the finale of the most recent season, they deal with...
Up until the snap itself does not happen.
Yeah,
but they do deal with Thanos is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you, Filup. I could see that the dusting may not happen yet. It's just a little too soon. I'm also trying to think like when they would have to have shot this, because they kept that pretty under secret, like what would happen, and I don't think they would have let that spread. They're pretty separate, the people who produce the TV series versus the people who produce the movies. So I don't think there would be a lot of swapping of notes enough to be like, okay, we're going to work in the snap. But do we think that they will ever address it in these shows? Because they're pretty separate.
You know what sucks is I think no.
The only thing you really get
the
is
incident or something.
Like especially in the Marvel TV shows, the only thing you really get is like a kid dressed as Captain America.
Right.
Like those tiny little inserts that don't really affect anything at all. It's just reminding and acknowledging that the heroes do exist in that world.
Yeah.
Right.
It seems like they've been given permission to mention the Battle of New York from Avengers, but that was like 6 years ago.
Well,
There's been so many other bigger events have happened since then.
I also think that they probably weren't sure where they wanted to draw that line, and so initially there actually were a few more references, the big green guy or whatever, things like that. But then it feels like they've since backtracked on that. I wonder if part of it had to do with the idea that Disney was like, we're going to launch our own streaming service. How much do we want Netflix's stuff to be essential viewing in order for you to have a complete experience of the MCU?
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it's frustrating because it's like, well, then why are you doing it in the same universe if you're not going to take advantage of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Well, it's like X-Men a little bit. Where it's like, okay, so it's all Marvel, but these characters can never meet, and it's like they're not really going to interact. And it's like,
two
well,
Quicksilvers.
You take away what is the best value and trait of the Marvel universe is that these characters can meet and team up and form new relationships.
Right. So then you have a Civil War with 12 characters instead of 60 or whatever.
Yeah, reboot Civil War, please. And speaking of which, let's talk about the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Always.
We have a first look at Captain Marvel last week, and we know that she will play a decisive role in the showdown against Thanos and Avengers 4. And Marvel head Kevin Feige revealed that the studio has many movies actually in the near future that will be female-led, so that female superhero movies hopefully will no longer be like a novelty. They'll actually just be the norm, and people will be able to look past, their gender.
Right. It's like white default, right? It's also a man default. One of the reasons why, and this, I'll throw a bone real quick. Sorry to interrupt you. No. I'll throw a bone real quick to the people that are often talking about like women complain about their portrayal, where I had a click moment recently where I was watching Upgrade, which is amazing actually, and I would give that my shout out. Upgrade's a really cool movie, but it opens with a classic like, oh no, a woman got hurt and now the man has to do something about it. And it was one of the first times where I was like, man, I feel that actually felt a little old and like stale when I saw that moment. And then I realized, no, from a writing perspective, it's not that she's a woman that needs to get hurt. It's that you want your main character to suffer their worst possible loss, the thing that they love the most. And there's nothing wrong with saying romantic relationships are the most important thing in many people's lives or their children, but even sometimes say not even that. And so that you take away who they love the most, it often happens to be a woman, but that's where the problem is, right? Because of man default. Every hero is a man. Yeah. Every story has a lead man.
Well, female, it's called a superhero, not a superheroine.
Right, exactly. People treat it that way, right? So it's like, the reason I was saying I was throwing a bone is like, I don't actually agree where it's like when women are like, oh, once again, the woman gets hurt because men love to torture women. It's like, no, it's actually a writing thing. But on the other side, I'm like, but we need more female leads then to be the stars of things.
Yeah, for sure. Well, what kind of female-led movies could Feige have been referring to specifically? Who's been mentioned? Of course, Captain Marvel has a movie coming out in March. And remember, there is a Black Widow movie in development, most recently with Kate Shortland announced as a director. Besides that, Feige has hinted at a possible Miss Marvel Kamala Khan movie. She would be the first Muslim superhero on the big screen. We've also gotten clues that Karen Gillan and Nebula, and Karen Gillan, the actress, saying that Nebula and Mantis might be teaming up in a future Marvel installment, probably Avengers 4, but who knows. Could you guys see an all-female Avengers? And if so, which of them would you want to see in there? My concern would be like, oh, we're just doing what Ghostbusters did or Oceans. They might have double backlash from that of like,
I don't see it like that.
Preacher is female, but I would honestly, with these characters, love to see it.
They're doing what DC's doing. Birds of Prey is happening. Margot Robbie's basically pioneering that one with Harley and Poison Ivy. And I think that's kind of Marvel following DC for the first time, which is interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it's like those because it's not like they're saying like, let's pretend the whole universe didn't happen and now it happened this other way with women. And whoa, it's very similar. I don't think it's that. I think it's kind of your Birds of Prey example is perfect, where it's like, our female characters are good enough to put together too.
Absolutely. I mean, the other ones that are established, just to run through them here, there's Wasp and Scarlet Witch, Shuri, Okoye, Valkyrie, and then also Maria Hill and Pepper Potts, MJ and Gamora, Jessica Jones, if you want to bring her in, Elektra, Jane Foster. There's a lot of like different mixes and matches. Any four of those, with a couple exceptions.
Did we not watch the movie?
With the...
What you mean?
Some of them are there who they'll probably come back. I mean, we're going to have another Spider-Man movie after this.
Well, but someone who specifically died in Infinity War.
That's what I'm saying. Well,
non-Dustin.
No one specifically died in Infinity War. I don't know if you've watched my 8 Loki resurrection videos.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Well, no, and it's true, right? Like, a body that fell is not necessarily a body that died. But of these, I'm going to say, and not just these, but of established characters, I would have said Valkyrie is someone who I think could play like such an awesome role. Yes. But since Valkyrie's already there, and we already mentioned Valkyrie, I'm going to go and say that a character not established yet, and this is like super wild card, and I don't know why this came to mind, but I would love to see post-merger Mystique find a way in. And it's not like, not a version who's like always been a hero, like a person who's like been problematic or whatever, but like a troublemaker, shapeshifter. It's something that we haven't seen that much of. Also, I kind of feel like Scarlet Witch got nerfed, so I also wouldn't mind seeing like Jean Grey. But
Scarlet Witch and Jean Grey going head to head, or like Dark Phoenix going head to head.
I don't know, but
you do have some redundancy with the X-Men for sure, because I think Kamala Khan is also a shapeshifter, and there's some of the like shapeshifting stuff. Personally, just because I know Mystique a little bit more, I'd be more curious to see. I don't know how much of the X-Men crossover
I like a villain playing a role in the hero side.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And we haven't seen She-Hulk. Now, is She-Hulk tied in with like the Hulk properties where only Universal can do a She-Hulk movie?
So I don't know. I did look that up a long time ago, and it was one of these things where they don't have clear answers in the public side of it. But I honestly, I also thought She-Hulk, and honestly, one of the reasons why I think they wouldn't is because she looks so much like Gamora.
We already got a green person.
Yeah,
It's not easy being green.
Yeah. Oh, really? Is it? Wasn't there something else with like green skinned characters, and they're like, oh, it'd be too similar to. Oh, I guess Drax was supposed to be kind of green in the comics, and they changed his palette a little bit. Yeah, but let us know which of these characters, including. Oh yeah, we're forgetting Susan Storm. We're hopefully see a Fantastic Four reboot.
I'm sorry,
in this new.
but Susan Storm is surrounded and flanked by 3 other men, and she's the wife usually. Let's be honest
She's
here.
Invisible
And
Woman?
yet she has like huge
great
powers.
powers.
It's the same thing though as like Scarlet Witch, where it's like your powers are so much cooler than they're showing up in the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
for sure.
Oop, you can't see me. It's like great.
Yeah, exactly.
Now
It's
we've
like,
lost all
turns out
female
we only had to pay her 75% of what we paid everyone else because she's not there.
And then it's like, oops, shield. I'm the protector.
Let's move on to another quick update here. It was announced this week that Westworld Season 3 will add Aaron Paul to the cast in an unknown role. Apparently, he'll be a series regular, though. Paul, of course, played Jesse Pinkman on Breaking Bad. He voices Todd on BoJack Horseman. It's a great show. New season just came out. And just to remind us of how Season 2 of Westworld ended, Dolores led Bernard and Charlotte.
Just plug your ears.
No, plug your ears.
I just don't know if I'm going to.
We'll plug yours just in case.
Plug your ears just in
No,
case.
I don't mind spoilers.
Well,
All
without
right.
getting into detail, basically
Plug your ears
the
if you
boundaries
want.
of the park have maybe been surpassed, right? Like there's some of the hosts who are working their way out into the world of human beings.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm kind of curious. Like my first thought was Aaron Paul as kind of this Gary Oldman from Rise of the Planet of the Apes, right? Where he was it Rise or Dawn? Dawn, I think. Where he was like kind of the leader of the human resistance when the robots are starting to take over. I could kind of see him being like the.
Oh, you're like jumping pretty ahead. Where
Yeah, I
they're
kinda
like
wanna- I think
creating
it's gonna
militias against robots.
Yeah, becomes kind of a secret invasion kind of thing of like who is a real host. I mean, it's impossible to really tell.
But they
unless you
played
get
things
a
so
brain.
slow on that show. I think
Yeah.
you just described season 7.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I think that's
the
why I
ending.
didn't watch it. It was a little slow.
It does good, especially season 2
I
slows
like
down
it,
a
but
bit.
yeah.
It's
You
still
do?
yeah, it's a show about ideas more than a show about like media payoff for sure. But let us know what kind of part you'd love to see Aaron Paul play. Hey, he's a great actor. He won. I forget that he won the Emmy 3 times for playing Jesse.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so the
Best
reason
supporting
why I
actor
don't
in a
mind
drama
spoilers
series.
is because I was really set to watch all 5 seasons of Breaking Bad, and then someone told me the finale ending, and I was just like, cool. And I figured nothing can spoil me as bad as that. But I didn't think Jesse Pinkman was. I didn't think Aaron did a good job in the first couple.
He gets a lot better, actually. And I
think
believe
all-
he
the whole
had
cast
an
gets better.
acting teacher work with him throughout the series.
That first one.
Yeah.
He's incredible.
Come
Yeah,
on!
yeah.
Oh,
He's kind of like a. I feel like they didn't know they were going to go that far with the character at the start of the series, right?
That's kinda
and then
cool,
by
though.
the end, just they started to like how he was playing with the parts.
Well, he
so
was
much.
supposed to be killed off, actually, by the
Yeah,
end of
okay.
season 1.
There you go.
Yeah.
That makes sense because the way that they're
Check
writing the
out
character in the pilot.
Good on
my
him,
breakdown
Ben.
that's coming on this on that episode where I have all kinds of information like that on Cena.
that's cool.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's
Both Aaron
awesome.
Paul and Dean Norris, I feel like, are 2 characters that were like Hank and Jesse were comic relief in the pilot, and the way their characters evolved over the course of the series is so fascinating.
I think I'm stuck on season 4. I actually get anxiety when his house, he opens it up to anyone.
Oh yeah,
And
that
like,
becomes a crack den.
yeah,
But
he
that's
has-
also a good time we get Badger, who
Yeah.
the
Matt Jones.
comedy theater that Erik and I used to run around at. But
Which actually became
oh, that's right. Okay, so Matt Jones is a great character on Breaking Bad. A very, very funny performer, comedy performer, improviser. The place that I was just referencing, I just remembered. We just found out turned into like a crack den, basically.
Yeah. Remember my improv theater closed, the iOS theater on Hollywood Boulevard? The LAPD did a raid of it this week. We're a bunch of homeless
59 people were
59
living
people.
there.
But not all of them were doing drugs. Some of them were just homeless. It became an artist
It's true.
community.
There was an
Yeah,
artist
yeah.
community. Some of them were doing drugs. Some of them were selling guns out
Some
of
of them
it.
were selling guns, which it's not. It's mostly a safety thing because wasn't there a thing up in Oakland where people doing that? The whole thing burned
It
down.
burned down,
Several
yeah,
people
yeah.
died. Yeah, so it's probably good to gotten out of there, right?
Yeah, I never
but-
saw 59 people in there at once.
Breaking Bad just
Not for any
broke.
show that we did, for sure.
Yeah, it
that's
played
why
out in real
closed.
life.
That's why it
Yeah,
closed.
anyway.
Okay, let's move on. Venom tickets are now on sale with the movie released in a couple weeks, and it was confirmed that the movie will be rated PG-13. It was kind of a question before it was decided, we learned, in order to set the stage for a possible crossover with Spider-Man in a future film. Director Ruben Fleischer also confirmed that there will be a post-credit scene. Stick around through the credits. Not like we have to tell you to do that. This actually could be where Spider-Man appears, maybe where Carnage appears. It sounds like it would probably be Carnage more than Spider-Man. We would have probably heard from Tom Holland himself if he showed up. In
Why?
this
Because
movie.
he can't keep a secret.
Yeah.
Not at all. And then
he's like, I can't tell you, but I am in it.
Ruffalo just comes and he's like, see, it's not just me.
It's like when you play Taboo and you're just like, orange. Oh, I just said the word.
Yeah. Orange, you glad I'm in this post-credits scene. We received this poster that you're looking at me behind my shoulder is the final poster for the movie. That maybe there'll be others. It's kind of Jackson Pollock style splat of paint showing Venom's face, and making sure to keep that hashtag in front of Venom because there's no other way the word Venom's going to trend on Twitter. It's real clever. I kind of want to ask you guys, how much do you think we should trust the marketing of this movie when it comes to building up our expectations? Is there a good movie behind the trailers of this movie and the posters?
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
I even though I'm like way less excited than I was at one point, I love Tom Hardy and almost everything that Tom Hardy does. Even if I just watch it as, I'm not an actor, I don't care about acting from a performer side, but from I get impressed by people that can sing like Whitney Houston. I get impressed by people that can transform into these characters, kind of like Tom Hardy. If you watch what's that movie where he drives the whole time?
Oh, yes. I know exactly what
it's just him in a car the whole time. That's the whole movie. But then there's the other one where he looks like your friend Joel. It was the boxer. Bronson. Yeah. And like these are such... And then Bane, right? Like he's just this transformative figure, but like kind of still an everyman. So for that reason, there's no way I'll miss this. But I'm less excited than I used to be.
There's kind of this weird like fan reaction to things where it's like, oh, Tom Hardy's making a vocal choice, so I cringe at that. I find that awkward. It's like, or he's just making a character choice with his voice, and if there wasn't a trailer for this, he would just walk into the movie and be like, oh, this is acting.
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
happening.
He's making choices.
Interesting. Yeah.
But also, like, if you want the R-rated one, watch Upgrade. That's like exactly what I found where I was like, the lead looks like Tom Hardy.
Who's that? I think I need to know immediately.
Devin, can you pull up a shirtless pic? Just for Maude. You don't have to put it on everyone else's screen. And then it's also about essentially like a symbiote kind of thing, taking someone's body over and giving them like extra abilities, and then him like being like a little lost by that. It even feels like the Venom trailer, and that movie is so good that it actually did make me more excited again. For I was like, well, Venom, then if it does this, it'll be good.
Yeah.
But that's an R-rated one.
Are you going to see it opening night though? Because I think I'm going to wait, and then you guys tell me if it's good or not, and then I'll see it.
I can't not see things opening night. Wow. It's a thing.
Yeah. We want to get those breakdowns for you fast.
Yeah. But also like that's the experience, right? I have a thing for what the director and writer wanted from its audience. And I think for movies like this, they want you there opening night. They want you to have that experience. People are cheering. So I give that to them.
That's kind of the fun of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like when it comes to the PG-13 versus R rating, it's we talked about this before. The character of Venom, as he was first introduced in the comics, was not necessarily R rated. His evolution over time did go to some R rated places, but it was really Carnage was the more R rated of the two of them. I would say.
It's like Juggernaut being a cannibal technically. You know what I mean? Like in like stories, it's like, well, do we feel like Juggernaut has to be in an R-rated movie?
We saw a very PG-13 Juggernaut as well in X-Men. So
in X-Men, and then
Deadpool.
spoiler in another movie. But yeah, like you don't have to have that portrayal for certain characters.
Yeah,
I mean, like they're like Spawn or something. Like these are characters that are just like known murderers.
Yeah,
symbiote now, by the way, guys.
Symbiote.
You can't spell that without bi.
Definitely not. Yeah. And when this movie comes out in a couple weeks, we'll definitely be there with your post-credit scene explanation and breakdowns and a bunch of videos. I'm still excited. The visual effects of this movie just look exactly as I would want them
I
to.
hope so.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
Now it is time to move on to our new Rockstars news lightning round. You guys.
Actually, our hearts go out to everyone being affected by the hurricane currently, but it's still lightning round. It's a lightning storm. There's no rain associated.
Harry Potter style round.
You guys tweeted some questions. I'm going to fire them at my co-hosts. They got to answer them as quickly and without hesitation as possible. Are we ready?
Not even a little bit.
Oh, well, Maude, it's coming at you first.
Cool.
At Cappy Kid wants to know, what's your spirit animal?
Oh, wolf. Or a flamingo. Probably a flamingo. But I want it to be wolf.
You got to get one of these shirts. Flamingo's my spirit animal, too. There's a bunch of them. And these are actually flamingos. They're just floating in front of it. They'll flap away at some point. Filup.
Yes, I'm
Mr.
ready.
Alberto Paz wants to know, what would be your wrestling name?
Fallopian tubes.
Oh my god, is your move like
true
this?
The fallopian tube.
That seems true stream of consciousness. Good
Can
on
we
you.
just say, this would be his move.
The fallopian.
You just have pool noodles that you hit him with?
I'm pregnant.
You're ectopic. Erik. You got 3 options. Let's see. No. It's spelled wrong.
Answer it. Lightning round.
I'll say this one. Erik at David4L wants to know what was your favorite non-comic book movie of the summer?
Of the summer. Mission Impossible Fallout.
Oh,
absolutely.
Best
There's
movie,
no hands
one
down.
of the best movies of the year.
Yeah.
But I do want to shout out at Barnaby Blackwell1 wants to know if you think Darth Mail will get his own movie.
I hope so. Neither rain nor shine.
Yeah,
Darth Mail's
Mail.
going to be there with a double-bladed
Darth
envelope sticker. There
I don't know what they do. Yeah.
Okay, well, now it comes to time for our 15-second shout-outs, where each of us has 15 seconds to shout out, plug, or rail about anything in the world. Filup, why don't you start?
I'm super proud of Scener. I'm working on it. It's still in development. If you have ideas, definitely let me know. But please check it out. It means a lot to me, but to us also in Rockstars. I think it could be anything. I think it could be like that big. I think it's a new platform. So if you go to scener.com/newrockstars, get the Chrome extension. But also like upload stuff and like find ways to like innovate, stuff that I haven't done with you guys, but I just like was playing around with. I mean, the scene we were talking about a second ago where we were saying. The watermelon being punched or whatever, like in Scener, you could show the watermelon being punched in the upper corner. Like it doesn't have to be commentary; it could be like anything. It could be
kind of
comedic
visual
recreations of the thing you're watching or whatever. I'm just like, this is a new platform. This is so exciting. Please check it out.
Also, you talked about Upgrade twice, but I still don't know what it is. Can you extend your 15 seconds and just tell me about Upgrade?
Yeah, it's just like a notification on the upper right of your screen, and it's just kind of like if you want to do it tonight or
Upgrade the movie.
Oh, this whole time I've been talking about Mac OS.
It's a great upgrade.
It's on Apple TV if you want to watch it, or on iTunes or anywhere you can buy rent a movie or whatever. But it's literally just called Upgrade, and it's about a guy who gets a chip implanted in his head, and it gives his body abilities, not because it adds abilities, but essentially it's like I'm a computer, I can run your body way better than you can.
Did you get the shows? That's disappointing.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, thought my day was going to be made. Guess not.
All right, he'll pull it up for you, or he'll take his shirt off.
Devin, take your shirt off. Oh wait,
that's not the first time we've asked Devin to do that kind of stuff on this channel.
We have demanded it before.
Yeah. Keep it professional.
Next 15-second shout out.
Yeah.
Okay, so my 15-second shout out is to Geek Bomb's Power, Playing, Watching, Reading, which I'm going to use for this because I don't have one thing that I want to necessarily shout out. So I'm just going to tell you what I'm playing, watching, and reading. I'm playing Stardew Valley on my MacBook. I am watching all of Doctor Who again, and I'm reading Order of the Phoenix by Harry Potter. Oh.
It's an autobiography.
Never tell her. It's much more fun that way.
I would never.
He's an unreliable narrator. First of all, because
move over, JK.
This is how I'm saying it goes. Meanwhile, Neville Longbottom is the true star.
He's working on his own. Yeah, he's the boy
Harry.
who lived. Harry. What a writer.
Now I actually match the set because my face is red.
There you go.
All right, for my 15 seconds, I'm going to talk to you about a live comedy show that I'm doing at the end of this month in Los Angeles. It's up on the screen, Infinity Fan. It's a live fan edit of cinematic universes. Oh, they're all in there, baby. It's a comedy sketch show parodying the stuff we talk about on this channel. Yes, it includes the Avengers and Star Wars, Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, Deadpool, the DC Universe. You know, a bunch of characters I probably don't have the licensing to do, but it's a parody, so I get to do it.
Oh, which ones do you have the licensing to?
Not even myself. Oh, God, I'm going to get sued by Erik.
Can you give us an impersonation of one?
Yeah, name one. I'll do it. I'll do an impersonation. I don't play all of them, just some of them. Deadpool. Oh, I didn't play Deadpool before? I'm going to do a bunch of dick jokes. And then some of them are going to be offensive, a little too offensive.
Stanley.
Hey, kid. I'm glad you two ended up together. You are my favorite pairing. I'm actually not playing Stanley.
Wonder Woman.
There's no right way to do it. Well, here's some of the stuff. It's about a nerdy fanboy who tries to fix all this stuff, even when it doesn't need to be fixed. In some cases, he just makes them worse. So, would Han Solo want to be resurrected? Should George R. R. Martin really finish Game of Thrones? Was Harry Potter actually better off with his parents murdered? It's going to answer some of those questions. And
he wrote about it.
He wrote about it. The one thing he wrote.
Let me tell you about my parents' murder.
So this is a show I wrote. I'm starring in it. You'll get to see me dance and sing really poorly. You also get to see Tommy Bechtold, Mr. Bottom Line himself, a bunch of other hilarious people that I know here in LA. It's Saturday, September 29th, 9 p.m. Acme Comedy Theater in North Hollywood. Tickets are only $5, and if you get them online, you can find them on the link in the description below, and I'll be tweeting about it a bunch. So
Good on you doing stuff. That's so cool.
yeah, you know, I gotta find a comedic outlet for some of this stuff. You know, I do a little bit in the videos, but you know what? I wanted to do it live, and if you come talk to me afterwards.
Nobody
and
Hugh
puts you in the
Jackman
corner.
as Wolverine and Logan.
as Wolverine and Logan.
In Logan, Hugh Jackman and Logan.
So this is what it feels like. Don't be what they made you.
I got
I'm
sad
fine.
real
You
quick.
fart. No, but the show better be funnier than that.
No, it's
Farts.
exactly that, buddy.
One band farts and everything.
One of farts.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, check it out, and hopefully, if you live in the LA area, you can come watch it.
Yeah.
But finally, let's return to the trivia question that we asked earlier, and a reminder that our punishment is the gift of shame.
Bring it.
Shame.
Bucket.
Bucket.
like
Oh yeah.
Voss.
So the way this works, the wrong stancer will have to draw a task from the GIF of
Don't
Jane.
you do it.
And they'll perform that task repeatedly while the winner gets to read the goodbyes and won't chant shame at you. It's so embarrassing. You'll be turned into an animated GIF so everyone knows how wrong you were, and you'll be punished online endlessly. So let's remind everyone what the question was.
Did you get my bribe?
The question.
Did you get my
was-
bribe?
Oh, what was the name of the Kent family dog in Man of Steel?
I
What?
can't tell you.
The Kent family dog in Man of Steel.
Fimo thinks it's Jerry.
Jerry.
I'm referencing the creator of Superman, and that's my only guess. Something like that.
Jerry?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For
Hello,
sure, Jason.
Jerry. Come here, Jerry. It's a question mark. So it's even if you're sure.
Maude, leave me be. I'm hurting enough as is.
Maude wrote Reggie.
Reggie the dog. Isn't that like a
Reggie.
Neither
Which is
of
what
these are dog
it's
names.
Scooby-Doo trying to say Jerry.
Yeah. And this guy wrote Erik.
No.
Oh wait, hold on. Husker.
Husker.
Is it Cornhusker? But I guess it's Nebraska instead of
Husker.
Kansas.
Husker. All right,
This
what's
is
the right
corn farm.
answer?
The correct
Erik?
answer was Hank. Hank the dog.
Is that a reference to anything?
Nope, just Hank.
It's gotta be. There's no
gotta be
way
Hank.
that it's just Hank.
Hey, it's just Hank. I
Hank's
guess.
not a dog's name.
Doesn't the dog run out of the storm shelter at some point, and that's how Jonathan Kent dies in the movie? He gets sucked in by the
Hank.
tornado, and it's Hank's fault, and they blame Hank.
Yikes.
Well, who was
All right, Judge.
Who's our winner, Judge? Yay!
How?
Maz.
Reggie.
Reggie.
Well, Eric's did
That's not
start
how
with
this
H
works.
and
H.
end with a consonant.
Reggie's.
You can't lose just because you've never
Reggie's
lost
pretty
before.
far. Well, that's-
Yeah.
no,
I like
the
that.
judge's verdict is unquestionable, so Maud's gonna have to draw a gif of shame and do it the whole time.
Shame.
All right.
Shame. 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 Shame.
Pretend like you've never seen a microphone before and it's blowing your mind.
Oh boy, okay, shape.
Shame.
So I'll do our goodbyes while Filup chimes in. All right, everyone. Thank you for watching this 2 weeks episode of New Rockstars News. I want to thank our hosts, me, Erik Voss, and Philip Molina, and Maude Garrett, our new inductee to the gift of shame. Oh, they're coming
okay,
for
this
you.
looks bad now,
Oh,
guys.
this is bad.
I did not sign up for that.
Hey, comment down below. Tweet us at New Rockstars. Like this video, share it around. Subscribe to New Rockstars for our deep dives and all the stuff you love. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Will Maud's mind ever be fixed?
Unblown. Bye.
Bye.
Good job, Maude. That was very funny.
That's good. That's good.